Hey there, fellow nature wanderers. If you're like me, you love spending time outdoors, breathing in that fresh air and connecting with the natural world. But at home, have you ever thought about what's in the products you use every single day? That's why I'm excited to share Apple Valley Natural Soap with you. Their handcrafted all-natural soaps are made with organic ingredients, essential oils, and no harsh chemicals. Awesome! So they're not only great for your skin, but they're safe for the planet. And they don't just stop at soap. Apple Valley Natural Soap also carries a full line of natural skincare products, including shampoos, body butters, facial bars, and more. All designed to nourish your skin without synthetic ingredients. You can't beat that. That's just awesome. Whether you're hiking in the woods or just winding down after a long day, their products bring a little bit of nature right into your home. And the best part? By supporting Apple Valley Natural Soap through The Nature Wanderer, you're also supporting this podcast. Just head to the show notes and click on the link for Apple Valley Natural Soap. So go ahead, treat yourself and the environment to something better. Your skin and Mother Nature will thank you. Now let's get on with our adventure. Hey there, fellow nature wanderers. Welcome back to another adventure on the Nature Wanderer podcast. I'm your host, Paul, and today we're diving into the world of nature's cleanup crew, the scavengers. These are the unsung heroes of the wild, the ones who keep ecosystems clean and balanced. They might not get the same admiration as, say, a soaring eagle or maybe a wolf, but trust me, by the end of this episode, you might just develop a newfound respect for them. I know I have a great respect for them. They're one of my favorite groups of animals. So grab your hiking boots, open your ears, and let's take a closer look at the creatures that turn waste into life. All right, so first things first, what exactly is a scavenger? Simply put, a scavenger is an animal that feeds on dead or decaying organic matter. Unlike predators, they don't typically kill their food. Instead, they just find it. Think of them as nature's janitors, making sure that dead things don't pile up and cause problems in the ecosystem. And scavengers aren't just limited to one group of animals. We've got birds like vultures and bald eagles, mammals like coyotes and opossums, and even insects like beetles and flies. There are even some fish and crabs that are scavengers. Nature has a whole cleanup squad out there, each playing a role in breaking down organic materials so that nature can reuse it. So let's start out with the mammals. One of my favorite wild animals, the opossum. Some people know him as the Virginia opossum. North America's only marsupial, which means that they carry their young in a pouch. Yeah, we don't have kangaroos here in North America. Hey, we got the opossum. They also carry their young in a pouch, so they are a marsupial. North America's only marsupial. Anyhow, these little guys, they eat just about everything. Yeah, from roadkill to rotten fruit, and they even help control tick populations. Yeah, they eat ticks. So if you don't like ticks, which who does? Thank the opossum for keeping the populations down. Now, an interesting thing about the opossum is they actually have a natural immunity to snake venom. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, opossums are primarily a scavenger. They don't really have the speed nor the tools to go out and kill an animal. I remember many years ago, I got a call back when I used to do wildlife rehab, and I got a call from this farmer who said that he had an opossum that didn't look so well. And I says, well, did you catch it? And he said, well, no, but I could because it's sitting here on my front porch eating the cat food next to the cats. And I'm like, really? The cats aren't bothered by it? The cats aren't attacking it? And he said, no, they're just sitting there in a row, a possum and the cats just eating out of different bowls. Okay. But yeah, it did have a bloody tail because they're prone to frostbite. But anyhow, they are scavengers. Even cat food they'll eat. Now another scavenger, and this one gets a pretty bad reputation, thank you very much Looney Tunes, is the coyote. Well, these animals are skilled hunters. I mean, coyotes are good at hunting. They can stalk and run down their prey, but they won't pass up an easy meal if they come across carrion. Hey, why go for all that energy going after an animal if there's a dead animal just laying there? It's fresh. Why not eat it? So they will eat carrion if they get the chance. It's a free meal is basically what it is. The coyote does play an important role in keeping the balance in ecosystems because of this scavenging and also because of their hunting. And for all those picnickers out there, I have to mention that bandit that loves to raid our food stores while camping. I'm sure you are familiar with who I'm talking about. They've probably gotten into your coolers the raccoon. I always call them a bandit because they do wear a mask, and they raid our food and our campgrounds and shiny objects. Yeah, they will go after those too. But these guys with their agile fingers are always looking for a free meal. Those long fingers can open up coolers, garbage cans. Yeah, they can get into quite a bit of trouble. And they'll eat just about anything that they can get their hands on. I don't know how many times I've been camping and I forget to lock up my food. The one time I remember I was camping and we put corn in a container filled with water to soak it so that we could put it on the fire and have some corn on the cob on the fire. Oh, I always used to love that. Well, we came back after a hike and all our corn was gone. Now, I knew enough not to blame the neighbors because they had plenty of food of their own. It was the raccoons. Yeah, they did leave some presents behind to let us know it was them too. So yeah, raccoons are scavengers, primarily scavengers. And of course, we have the bear. Wait a minute here. Bears? Well, yeah, bears. Bears are known to scavenge for a meal. I mean, you've got this big mammal out there. He could kill just about anything in the woods. But why waste the energy? Especially in the spring. After a long winter nap, they look for scraps left behind to save their energy until they can replenish it with food. So the bear is a big scavenger in the spring. I mean, he's been sleeping the winter away. He's tired. He doesn't have energy. All his food stores have been, keeping him alive all winter. So all that fat he built up, it's gone. So he needs to get food quickly, and he doesn't have the energy to chase some animal down. So why not just find some food scraps and go for that? It's easy to chase away someone who killed another animal if you're a bear. So yeah, bears are considered a scavenger. And the next mammal might surprise you also. The wolf. Yeah, the wolf is known for their hunting skills, especially in the pack. They can chase down larger animals like deer because they're hunting in a large pack. I mean, these guys are well known for their hunting skills. But when food gets scarce, you do what you have to survive. And that usually includes scavenging. So they will scavenge and fight off other animals for a road-killed feast. Or if the other animal killed it, hey, they're going to go and chase the other animals away, and they will eat it themselves. I've actually seen a video of wolves trying to chase a bear off of a carcass, and vice versa too. So they fight over these carcasses, and the wolves are pretty brave if they're hungry enough. Now, it's all about survival out there. And thus, if food is hard to find, you take what you can get. Fox are also opportunist scavengers. Oh, what did I say? Opportunist scavengers? Yeah, that's basically what we call these animals, like the coyote, the bear. If the opportunity arises, hey, you go for it. It's a free meal. So those are a lot of the animals that will scavenge. But just about any animal who is hungry enough and can't find food, if they see a free meal there, they're going to grab it. So let's switch over to the avian world, the birds. So in the avian world, there are some of our better known scavengers. Some of these birds have had a bad reputation that follows them through history because of their diet choices. A reputation that is not well deserved, in my opinion. And of course, one of the most famous scavengers, guy we have to talk about if we're talking about scavengers, is of course the turkey vulture. And pretty much any vulture, but the one that I always like to talk about when I'm talking scavenging is the turkey vultures. Now, these guys do get a bad rap, mostly because, well, hey, they're feasting on carcasses, dead animals. And if you've ever seen them eat a dead animal, it can be rotting, it can smell, and they don't care. Turkey vultures actually have a very keen sense of smell. They can smell a rotting carcass from miles away. That way they can find the food. Whereas like black vultures, very poor sense of smell. So they follow the turkey vultures around. Sometimes they'll kind of group up together. And that way the black vultures who have a poor sense of smell can actually find the food because the turkey vultures are sniffing it out. They do have good eyesight too, so they can spot these carcasses from way up above. Now, did you know that they are actually built for eating dead, rotting carcasses? I mean, if you're a wolf or a coyote or a bear, you want something that was freshly killed. If it starts rotting, it's going to make you sick. But the stomach acid in a turkey vulture will actually kill any harmful bacteria. So it doesn't make them sick. They're built for eating this stuff. And because they're eating this harmful bacteria, they're actually helping us out because they're preventing disease from spreading. They're basically the ultimate recyclers. By eating rotting carcasses, they're preventing disease from spreading to other species, including us, humans. Unfortunately, though, because of their looks, if you've ever seen a turkey vulture, if you haven't, look it up. Okay, they're pretty ominous looking. There's a reason that they use vultures in all these scary movies, especially with witches and such. Yeah, the vultures always bring the evil spirit into the scene. But anyhow, because of their looks and the food they eat, yeah, they have been through the ringer in folklore. Yeah, stories of them being connected to death and evil, and yeah, they do have a very bad rap. Even in today, I had a farmer come up to me once, and he says, "Oh yeah, I hate those turkey vultures. They teamed up and came down and killed one of my cows." I'm like, no, that's impossible. They're not built for it. They don't have the strength. They don't have the talons. They don't have the tools to kill a large animal like that. And he swore. He says, nope, they killed it. They peck out the eyes. And I looked it up, and there is false information out there on the internet about how turkey vultures, black vultures, they will attack cows, peck their eyes out, knock them over, and then start eating them. It does not happen. It's all a lie. If you notice the sources, it's usually the cattle industry. They need someone to blame, and unfortunately, well, the turkey vulture gets the blame. But no, it is usually an animal that died, and the turkey vultures are just doing their job. They're the cleanup crew. Anyhow, let's move on. Of course, if we are talking about scavengers, especially ones with bad reputations, we can't forget to mention the American crow and the common raven. I'm going to stick these two together because they are very similar. A lot of people mistake one for the other, but they're very intelligent birds. They're in the corvid family. They have actually been observed using tools, playing tricks on other animals, and they will work together to find food. But they are scavengers. Yeah, the crows, the ravens, they will go and eat carrion, dead animals. Not like the turkey vulture. It has to be fairly fresh for them to eat it, otherwise they can get sick from it. But they are scavengers. But they're scavengers with brains. Yeah, very intelligent birds. Most of the birds in the corvid family, very intelligent. Now, unfortunately, just like the turkey vulture, they have had their fill of historically bad tales and misunderstandings. Unfortunately, I'd love to talk about some of these tales and all, but that's for a different episode. We have so many more animals to talk about that are scavengers. And there's one more bird scavenger I want to talk about that may surprise a lot of people. We can't overlook the bald eagle. Wait a minute here. The bald eagle, isn't that America's national bird? Why on earth would we pick a scavenger? Well, they're an opportunist scavenger. Many people picture our national symbol as fierce hunters. Bald eagles are actually opportunist scavengers, though. They often steal food from other birds, or sometimes they'll feed on dead fish, dead carrion. Their ability to scavenge helps them survive, especially through tough hunting conditions. Like in the winter months, it gets tough. It gets harder for them to find food to kill, so they have to depend on scavenging. I've actually seen bald eagles many times standing in the middle of a field, getting their fill on some road-killed animal. I just had a friend recently, and I posted the pictures on my social media. If you look back at early February, I believe it was. So go to my social media, Instagram, Facebook, and there's pictures on there that a friend of me sent from their trail cam that they set up on this road-killed deer in the middle of their field. They caught ravens, bald eagles, crows, fox. Yeah, a lot of animals were scavenging on that deer. Now, when I say the word scavenger, most people wouldn't think of the cold-blooded reptile world, but they have some scavengers, including the snapping turtle and garter snakes. Both these reptiles will be happy to feast on a free meal. Because they're cold-blooded, they need to conserve energy, and thus they move slow. Hunting for food often involves expending a lot of energy that you may need later, so a free meal is always welcome. It saves that energy that they need. So yeah, those guys, the snapping turtle, garter snakes, and I'm sure there's more, that will scavenge for food. And let's not forget about the aquatic species. Someone needs to keep the waterways clear of dead animals, so there's fish out there that scavenge. Did you know that crabs and certain species of fish, like catfish, are also scavengers? They consume decaying matter on the ocean floor, or the lake floor, or the creek or river. Yeah, they're keeping aquatic environments clean. And of course, I can't wrap up my list of scavengers without talking about the little guys. Yes, the insects have taken scavenging to new levels. One of my favorite insect scavengers is the American carrion beetle. They specialize on decomposing carcasses. Yeah, they rely on their highly sensitive antenna to detect the smell of decaying flesh from a long distance away. Adult beetles actually feed on the decaying flesh, helping speed up the decomposition of the animal that they're eating. They also consume fly larvae, what we know as maggots, which are often present on the carcass. After feeding, females lay their eggs in or near the decomposing body. When the larvae hatch, hey, they have their meal right there for them. They continue feeding on both the decaying tissue and other scavenging insects as well. So it's pretty interesting, these guys. And since I mentioned them, let's talk about maggots. I'd rather not. Trust me, I'd rather not. They're one of my least favorite critters in nature. Being a wildlife rehabilitator, I can't count the number of times I've had to pick maggots off of an injured animal right out of the wound. And, well, I could tell you stories, but I don't even like to talk about it because I don't like to think about them. I think they're really disgusting, gross critters. And they do make my skin crawl. But fly larvae, we'll call them that instead of maggots, it helps me a little bit. They actually play a very crucial role in breaking down organic material quickly. Not slowly, but quickly. Otherwise, we might as well just let it decay on its own, but we need to get it out of there quickly before disease spreads. So these guys, the fly larvae, they will actually speed up the process. They make sure that nothing goes to waste. They're breaking down the carcass in days rather than weeks, like it would normally take. And lastly, I'd like to mention ants. How many times have you been sitting there staring at a group of ants, watching their... What do you mean you don't do that? Oh my God, you really need to do that. When you see a group of ants, watch them. They're so fascinating. Yeah, it's interesting how they're very organized. They're like little robots. They're on an assembly line, and they really know what they're doing. And what they're doing is they break down dead organisms and organic material. So besides just going into rotting dead animals, they're also breaking down the plants that are starting to decompose. So they're helping speed things up as well. Now, you may wonder, especially ending with, I'll use the word, maggots and ants and probably some of the critters you really don't like. And as I mentioned, some of the larger critters that I mentioned, well, they get a bad reputation too. So why should we care about them? Yeah, why care about scavengers? I mean, they're just eating dead stuff, right? Well, without them, we would be in big trouble. Yeah, scavengers help prevent spread disease. I've already mentioned that was several of them. Imagine if animal carcass just sat around. Okay, deer gets hit by a car, dead at the side of the road, starts decaying. It's decaying in the sun. Have you ever driven down the road and you smell rotting carcass? It's a very distinctive smell. If you haven't smelled it before, maybe you haven't, you didn't realize what it was. It's very distinctive. Yeah. You have this animal carcass just sitting at the side of the road, decaying in the sun. Bacteria is multiplying very quickly, spreading disease to other animals and even to us. So the scavengers like the vultures, bald eagles, coyotes, even the insects, they're keeping harmful bacteria in check to keep us healthy. There'd be a lot more disease out there if we didn't have the scavengers. They also help recycle nutrients back into the environment. When a scavenger eats a carcass, they break it down into simpler forms that return to the soil, which in turn feeds the plants and other organisms. It's nature's way of making sure nothing goes to waste. Even in human history, we've benefited from scavengers. Many indigenous cultures understood and respected these creatures for their role in maintaining balance. And in modern times, scientists are actually studying vultures for their ability to resist disease, hopefully leading to potential medical advancements. Let's talk about how misunderstood these creatures are. A lot of people see scavengers as dirty, gross, or even creepy, but in reality, they're some of the most important animals in our ecosystems. So hopefully you start understanding that. Now, as mentioned earlier, the vultures are often feared because of their eerie appearance, but they're crucial to maintaining the environment. Well, I hope this episode gave you a new appreciation for scavengers. They may not be the flashiest animals, although some are, like the bald eagle, but they do play a crucial role in keeping our world healthy and balanced. So the next time you see a vulture soaring above, maybe a bald eagle perched in a tree, or a coyote trotting through the fields, take a moment to appreciate their role in nature's grand design. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening today. Be certain to share the podcast with your nature-loving friends that they too can learn more about the natural world around them. And if you'd like to support the podcast, please visit the show notes for a link to my Ko-Fi page. You can also support the podcast by purchasing awesome items in my online merch store. And if you like to journal your wanderings through nature, I certainly hope you do. It's a lot of fun to do. Make sure you purchase a Nature Wanderer Nature Journal. All the links are in the show notes. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Stop back next week for another episode of the Nature Wanderer podcast. Have a great one and keep exploring the nature around you. Hello, friends. I hope you're out wandering through nature, exploring the natural world around you. Do you enjoy writing about your wanderings? Nature journaling is an awesome, fun way to remember all the adventures you have taken and how you felt during those journeys. If you're looking for some beautiful journals to keep track of all your wanderings, I have several available on Amazon, including some guided journals for children. Start your journey in journaling by clicking on the link in the show notes. Keep exploring the nature around you and keep journaling all your wanderings.